Um, Before we jump into today's topic, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button to stay updated with all our latest videos. Have you ever found yourself sympathizing with people who did something utterly bizarre or even wrong, just because you got a glimpse of their deeper struggles? That's exactly what happened to me after watching Balloon Boy, a Netflix documentary that took a closer look at one of the weirdest media stories of the 2000s. Um, it's a tale that still makes people scratch their heads and ask, what on earth were they thinking? And The story revolves around the infamous Balloon Boy incident in October 2009, when it was reported that Falcon Heen had been trapped inside a homemade flying saucer balloon floating through the skies of Colorado. Most people, myself included, have always been convinced that it was a hoax. But after watching the documentary, something unexpected happened. I actually felt sorry for the Heenes family. Um, Now, I see, don't get me wrong, uh, the documentary didn't change my opinion on the 2009 incident. And I still think Richard Heen, Falcon's father, knew full well that his son wasn't in the balloon, and it was all a staged stunt for attention. But what the film did was show the real human cost of a media frenzy, something that made me rethink how I saw the Heenes. The documentary dives into the consequences of a story like this one going viral. 6 hours, it becomes clear that Richard Heen never intended for things to escalate the way they did. He was a eccentric man with big dreams, hoping to create something extraordinary for his family. Unfortunately, his ambition to entertain his sons turned into one of the most embarrassing scandals of the decade, overshadowing everything else he'd hoped to achieve. And the film did a remarkable job of revealing the aftermath of the media circus. Richard's life and the life of his family was turned upside down. And it's easy to forget just how invasive the media can be when it gets its claws into a story. The Heenes found themselves constantly under the spotlight, with camera crews staking out their home, and their lives effectively laid bare for the world to judge. One thing that stood out to me was the realization of how relentless the media can be. The documentary does an excellent job of showing how even the most harmless event can snowball into something uncontrollable, leading to unexpected consequences that affect everyone involved. By the end of it, I found myself looking at Richard Heen not as a villain, but as someone who had made a mistake, like many of us do. He wasn't some outcast or figure deserving of endless ridicule. He was just a guy trying to do something fun for his family, only for it to blow up in his face. Here's the kicker. Sometimes the things we laugh at the most come from the most genuine, if misguided, intentions. And it's like watching a dog chase its tail. Just because it looks funny doesn't mean the dog is wrong. And it's just a little confused, like all of us sometimes. Um, with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, okay?